Hello and welcome. In this practice today, we're going to be focusing on opening and mobilizing the thoracic spine, and that's the upper portion of the spine, in between the mid-back and your neck. And we can get in there nice and deeply with some good twists, some chest opening and movements that generally encourage this kind of fluidity through the shoulders and upper spinal region. So we'll get right stuck into that, and maybe along the way, we'll try and just build a little bit of resilience. So some challenges involved, but as always, we'll find a deep sense of equanimity, some balance and some harmonious kind of conscious breathing along the way. So let's get started, and we'll be on the back to begin with. So just taking a second to kind of get yourself organized onto your back. You can come into Shavasana or Supta Baddha Konasana, anything else that works. Just starting with a sense of comfort, and I want to bring that kind of into your awareness, or bring that into the mindset. That there's a level of ease and comfort that's here. It might be covered up by a few things, tension in the body, tension in the mind, but it's there, it's sitting somewhere underneath. And just with the recognition of that idea, that peacefulness, happiness, all these qualities that kind of come associated with the yoga practice, they're sitting inside of us somewhere. And so through this process, we start to peel back a few layers and just get rid of anything that's kind of standing in the way of that. And here, kind of flush things out with a nice long and deep breath in. And a kind of heavy, relaxing breath out. Let the eyes relax and the jaw relax. The shoulders relax and the hips relax. And we begin a conscious journey inwardly with a deep sense of care, a deep sense of nurturing, and yet we also find a sense of challenge. It's a calm and controlled challenge, however. And hopefully in that process, a sense of resilience building. But here we start with a nice bedrock of stability with the breath. So starting to breathe down towards the belly space. Starting to breathe out a little bit more slowly, and really trying to take a few rounds to guide yourself towards a slower and steadier breath. Breathing in just a little bit more fully, and breathing out just a little bit more slowly. See if you can imagine that the whole duration of your breath is starting to slow down. So the inhale lasts longer by breathing in deeper down to the belly space. The exhale starts to take more time as you smooth it out and slow it down. Starting to organize your breathing into a 6-second count. Breathe in for 6 and breathe out for 6. And use this very fundamental form of pranayama to create consistency and regularity in your breathing. And this starts to become steadily reflected in the state of your mind and your body, but it's a really gradual process, and it'll take us a while to get into it, so don't rush it. This is kind of just like the introduction of the deepened breath to the body on this day. And we'll continue to further that as we go into the practice. But we'll just take a few more here, 6 in, 6 out in silence. After your next exhale, drop the count of your breath and just maintain the pace. Staying intimately involved with your breathing. Start to hug the knees up in towards the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze and then think about coming towards happy baby. Certainly don't have to, but maybe if it's available straight off the bat here. Be a bit playful with it, kicking the legs, bending and straightening through the knees, and just taking, a couple more breaths here. Little rock side to side maybe for a breath or two more. And then knees to chest as you rock up to a seated position and roll over the knees to come straight into cat-cow. So once you hit tabletop, all fours, take an inhale to press the belly down, puff the chest forward and look up. And then exhale to really raise and arch up through your spine. And that's how you carry on. The inhale presses the belly down. The exhale arches up through the spine. And just take a few more breaths, a few more rounds of movement to the arch. Nice fluid and slow movement, moving the shoulders and the tailbone. Just taking 2 more rounds, moving gently and steadily with your breath. And then once you arrive here, go ahead and, into a neutral spine that is, go ahead and turn the hands over, palms facing up, back of the hands on the floor, fingers back towards the knees, and opening and closing the fingers quite a lot. That's it, yeah, so fingers are facing back, opening and closing, that's the way. Keep on doing a bunch more here. Just a breath or 2 more. And then flip your hands over so the palms are now down and the fingers are back towards the knees once again. And then sitting some weight back into much more of a stretchy kind of position. If you want to intensify a whole lot more, you could lift the palms and just rest on the fingers, sort of dropping the elbows back down towards the floor. I'm just taking 2, maybe 3 breaths there. And then release. Shake out the hands just for a little moment. You got it, and then we'll come into downward facing dog. So placing the palms, tucking the toes and lifting up the hips. Just making a little bit of movement to feel out your down dog, especially if it's the morning. We get a little bit tighter. And so we let all this sort of connective tissue, the fascia, open up in the body initially. And that just requires a little bit of mobility, a little bit of movement, taking the joints through their ranges, and just getting some heat through the muscles. So we'll encourage that through the upper body as we come into high plank. Bring shoulders above your wrists, rounding your upper back, and then send the hips back into down dog. And just doing that a couple more times. Forward, activating the shoulders as you round the back, and then back to down dog. And final one, coming forward, drop the knees to the ground and then lower all the way down till you're flat. Go ahead and take the hands off the side of the mat. Lift the chest into cobra and then lower straight back down, getting a nice wave-like action through the spine. Now really try and activate the legs. Press the feet down and then keep on waving, rippling through the spine. Kneecaps are off the ground And your butt is squeezing, your glutes. Control, especially the lowering down of the movement, but also the activation of the glutes is going to prevent you from probably lifting too high without the muscular activation of the lower back and the glutes area. So we want that. We'll just take 2 more rounds. We're getting some nice, just fluid movement. There's no rush here to move on. We'll just take 1 more round, lift and lower. And as the chest comes down, push back through to tabletop and into downward facing dog. And as you find down dog, walk the hands back towards the feet at the back of the mat into a forward fold. And as you land or arrive at the back of your mat, really let the upper body hang and dangle. Maybe letting the upper body sway a little from side to side, left to right a few times. Feeling out the legs, even bending and straightening the knees. I quite like to pulse a little bit here. Even with both knees bending simultaneously. So sort of almost, it's like a micro little squat. Just taking a breath or 2 more here. And then bend the knees deeper to then roll up the spine, sort of tucking the tailbone on your way through and reaching up at the top with the tiniest little back bend, reaching up, looking for the ceiling, a little lean back, and then folding straight back in to walk the hands out to plank position. Now, as you arrive in plank, take the heels over to the left, turn the heels to the left, and then lift the hips back up into down dog, and we'll go high plank, turn the heels to the right. Back to down dog. Again to the left, high plank. Heels go left. Back to down dog. And final time, heels to the right as you hit high plank. Now come back into down dog. Again, find high plank, but lower down through chaturanga. So send some weight forward, shoulders forward to the wrists as you lower all the way down. You got it. This time, reach the arms back by your side. Roll back your shoulders first as you lift the chest and arms up off the ground. And then lower down to do a few more. Now, the lower body activation becomes quite important here. So lifting the chest, shoulders back, but the thighs are active, feet are pressing down. 2 to go. Lift as you inhale, lower as you exhale. Last one. Tight legs, lift the chest, and then lower down, either pushing up through plank or coming back through tabletop and into down dog. And taking a nice easy walk towards the top of your mat. Feet coming up towards your hands now, bending into the knees. Keep some space between the feet as you roll up your spine through to standing. Now this time, lift the heels up off the floor like a ballerina. Palms touch above the head, stretch high and tall. Little suction in the belly, squeeze your butt for 1 more big breath here. And then interlacing hands behind the lower back. Still got the heels lifted just for a moment. Roll back the shoulders. And then drop the heels now to fold forward. A little bend in the knees as the hands come up over the head. And just taking 2 to 3 breaths there. Release. Hands to the floor, a flow. Halfway lift, inhale. Step back to plank position to find chaturanga. Bend at your elbows. Inhale through to up dog. Pull the chest through the arms. And exhale to down dog to lift the hips up. 1 more round of sun salutation, but 1 more breath in downward facing dog. Nice and slow on the exhale. Back to the top of the mat. Walk, step or jump. Feet towards your hands. Take a halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to stand. Reach up for the ceiling. Tall and big. And exhale to fold straight back down. And 1 more time now. Halfway lift, pull the shoulder blades back, and step or jump back. Chaturanga finds upward facing dog, and up dog finds then downward facing dog. Lifting up the hips, again, settling the breath, especially when you've got the opportunity in these more static holds. And then again, back to the top of the mat. Walk, step or jump, feet towards your hands. Take a halfway lift, flatten out your back. Exhale to fold in. Inhale to stand, reach up, nice and big. And this time fold forward, it's going to change. A halfway lift and just step the left foot back into runner's lunge. Drop down the back knee there. Arms raise up into low lunge. Now squeeze your left butt cheek, tuck in the toes at the back. And as you exhale, sweep the arms back, straighten through the front leg into half Hanuman. Now we're going to add a little bit more to this. As we rebend the front knee, reach straight out in front of you and lift the back knee into extended arrowhead. Drop the back knee, lift the arms. Touch the palms above the head and lift the chest a little higher to lean back. And again into half Hanuman. Straightening through the front leg, sweep the arms back. And I think looking forward is good. We'll do it 2 more times. Bend the front knee, reach out, extended arrowhead as you lift the back knee. Simply lower the back knee, lift the chest higher and touch the palms to pull the elbows back. And then exhale into half Hanuman. And we've got 1 more round to go. Inhale, lunge, reach. Tall, a long spine rather, and then drop the back knee, squeeze the butt, lift the chest, big breath in, exhale to half Hanuman, straightening through the front leg. Now this time, into runner's lunge, bend the front knee, puff the chest out on fingertips, lift the back knee, right hand raises up into simple twist, fairly immediately taking that into a half bind. Now wrapping the right arm behind the lower back, turning back your right shoulder, but preventing the front knee from falling out to the side. Hug it in a little, tighten the back leg as well. A breath or 2 more here. Now, this could be a really tricky transition if you're comfortable with the side plank transition. You can keep the half bind and step the right leg back before you raise the right arm, or please place both hands down and find the same. Lifting up the hips, a breath or 2 more here. And as the right hand comes down, find wild thing to the other side. Left hand comes up, step your left foot straight behind the knee, outside the mat. Turn the chest, lift the hips. A breath or 2 more. Now, in 1 big step, left foot up between the hands, and the right foot slides up behind it into a nice little cross-legged forward fold. So you adjust the positioning on the feet. Maybe they stagger, a little bit more forward and back, or more side to side. Up to you. Relax the shoulders and the neck a little. Now, only if you feel like intensifying, raise the right arm into a twist. The left hand is on the floor. Keeping some breath rolling here for just 2 more breaths. And sort of in one movement, as the right hand comes down, uncross the legs, roll up the spine, bending through the knees, reach up and stretch up, and we come straight through a flow. Exhale to fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Step or jump back, chaturanga. Bend elbows. Inhale to up dog, chest pulls through. Down dog, lifting up the hips. 2 to 3 breaths there in down dog again. Taking these wonderful opportunities to steady the heart rate, contrasting the elevating heart rate with a slowing breath. Again, to the top of the mat. Look forward, lift the heels, bend the knees. Walk, step or jump, top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold in. Inhale to stand, reaching up for the ceiling, big. And exhale to fold, straight back down. Halfway lift, flatten out. Right foot now steps back and lower down the knee. Raise up the arms into low lunge. So sort of set up the position initially here by squeezing your right glute and belly sucks in. Every single time we're in this position, belly in, butt on. Let's go. Sweep the arms back into half Hanuman. Big breath. Here as you inhale into extended arrowhead. Lift the back knee as you lunge and reach out in front of you. Simply lower the back knee, raise the chest higher, lean back, pull the elbows back, butt on, and exhale to half Hanuman. Sweep the arms back. Lunge, reach out, lift the back knee, extend the chest, lower the back knee, chest lifts right up, squeeze the butt, big breath. Exhale to half Hanuman, straightening through the front leg. Again, inhale, lunge, reach, lift a little, lower the back knee, lift the chest, lean back, big breath. Exhale to half Hanuman, sweep the arms back. Simple twist is on its way. Bend the front knee, lift the back knee. Left hand raises up. Now, really pay attention to the front knee, hugging in a little as you find the half bind. Wrapping the left arm behind the low back, turning back the shoulder. Breathing steadily and slowly here. 2, maybe 3 breaths more. And then maybe you try the transition, but my tip is to roll to the outer blade of the back foot pretty much first, and then step the left foot back. So you've got a sturdy base, lift the hips, do what you will with the left hand when you arrive there. Side plank it is, 1 more breath. And a straight transition to the other side into wild thing. Left hand comes down, right hand comes up, step the right foot behind the leg, turn the hips, lift the chest, big breaths. Couple here. 1 giant leap, right foot, or just a step rather. Right foot steps between the hands, and then left foot behind the right leg into a nice cross-legged forward fold. So settle in. Again, you're going to have to be adaptable here. Feel out your own position. There's no exacting position for your feet. It's going to be particular to your body. So the standardization here is to kind of halfway lift, create length in the lower back. That's good for all of us. And then the left hand might come up into a twist. Breathing slowly, gently. Little balancey, no doubt. Breath or 2 more. Toes are working. Nice fluid movement to stand up. So the left hand comes down. Uncross the legs, bend the knees, roll up the spine, reach up and stretch up. Little back bend, squeeze the butt, and exhale to fold in for a flow. Halfway lift, inhale. Step or jump back. Chaturanga. Inhale, up, down, pull the chest through. Broad. And then exhale to down dog, lifting up the hips. Breath or 2 more in downward dog. Now, just like what we did a little while ago, high plank, heels turn to the right. Heels turn to the right. Now this time, left hand comes up, feet are staggered. Tap your right knee to your right elbow. Right knee, right elbow. Back foot is like a warrior foot. Take 1 more big breath. And as the left hand comes down, 3-leg dog, right leg up. Bend at the knee, tilt the hip up a little higher. Tap the right elbow, squeeze it in. Inhale, lift it back up. Doing good, keep going. Knee to the nose, pull it in. Inhale, lift it back up. And then over to the left elbow to tap. Inhale, back up. Step the foot in between the hands to find pyramid. So straightening now through the front leg. I really suggest shortening up the stance a little bit there, and then definitely taking a halfway lift to lengthen out. So we want the lower back elongated a little more. And then folding back in. Settling the shoulders and the breath. And just getting into that kind of penetrating through the initial stages of the posture that have all this sort of tension, this superficial tension in it, where the body's gripping to protect itself into strange positions. And then simply by centering your awareness into your body, presence is there, you kind of take the conscious control and the body starts to let go a little bit. You hand over the control from being automated to conscious, and practically we find that through the breath. And just take 2 or 3 more here. We're just taking a little breather in a sense. 1 more big breath. Nice generous hold there. And then up into crescent lunge. Bend the front knee, raise up the arms, touch the palms above your head and take that prayer behind your neck. Now squeeze the left butt cheek, lift the chest a little higher. Maybe bend the back knee a little more to lift the chest. 1 more big breath. And as you straighten through your front leg, raise up the arms, reach up, little wobbly, and then rebend the front knee to twist. Hook your left elbow around the front leg, hands still together, back leg now probably elongating, scooching back a little bit. And then pressing the right hand into the left, but I think that kind of feels like lifting the chest a little bit more away from the thigh. Just take 2 more big breaths. Back thigh is super tight still, stay with it. And then place the hands on the floor, like a little curtsy. Tap your left knee to the back of the right calf, curtsy. And then step your left foot back into warrior one. So as you spin the back heel down, it's a bit more width in the stance, width, sideways, and then raise up the arms, straighten through the front leg, interlace hands behind the lower back now. Heel toe the front foot out a little bit more, raise up the chest, and in one movement, as you bend the front knee, you also bow forward into humble. Keep the back leg really strong here, firm, engaged. Squeeze at your shoulder blades and try and take just 2 more big breaths now. Good, hands on the ground, 3-legged dog. Right leg lifts up and out. Now bend the knee and tilt the hip up and open. Consider taking flip dog here, and it's a little different to wild thing. You'll turn the hips just like wild thing, set the right foot down, and then turn both feet back. Bending the knees like bridge and dropping the butt, and then lifting the hips up, pressing the chest back, opening the left side chest. We take 2 big breaths there, looking for a fluid transition to fallen triangle. So as you unflip, right hand comes down, cross the right leg under the body and kick it out to the other side. Maybe hover the foot off the ground, left hand up, hold for a breath or 2, big breath in, and then 3-legged dog, left hand down, right leg up. Take a breath, step through, right foot in between the hands, open the arms, warrior 2, straightening through the front leg as you reach up and back, and then reaching forward for triangle and catch your breath. Right hand down, left hand up. Over the next 3 to 4 breaths, just a little extra on the exhale, slow it down. Muscles are still working in the body, the back leg is strong. There's activity and, in a sense, mild intensity in the muscular work. But then, again, infusing a deep sense of ease into the breathing, into your presence. Caring attitude here rather than a competitive one. One more deep breath now. Warrior 2, bend the front knee, scoop the right hand up and back, reverse it. And then coming into side angle. So as you keep the front knee bent, bring the right hand down inside the foot. Top arm, again coming into a half bind here, wrapping it behind the lower back. Full bind is welcome, but keep turning back the left shoulder here. Back leg is nice and stable and firm. We take breath. Slow it down. 2 to 3 more here. And then as you place your left hand down on the floor inside the front foot, turn to the left hand side of your mat, turn the front foot in. So a bit like a wide-legged forward fold, but take a halfway lift, place the left hand under the face, raise the right arm up, and take that into a half bind. Wrap it behind the lower back. Now from here, an option to stay just as you are and sort of lift the left hip up a little bit. Lift the left hip up a little bit. Alternatively, keeping that same structure at the hips, you could deepen a little here and take your left hand to the right ankle and take the chest a little further towards your right knee. But again, the tricky part here is it's definitely difficult to keep the left hip lifted, almost like a counter position to where you're going, a counter direction. And taking just 2 more breaths, keep turning back the right shoulder, don't forget about that. And then just to wash things out, take a halfway lift. Place the right hand down, raise the left hand up, literally 2 breaths, twisting the other direction. And now from here, take your time, and it can be a little tricky, but go slow. Skandasana at the back of the mat. As the left hand comes down, turn the left toes out, sit the butt down, adjust the length of your stance so the right leg is straight. Semi-comfortable, chest up, hands to prayer. A breath or 2 more. You're really going to turn your hips back to the top of the mat as we find standing splits at the top of the mat. So as you walk your hands up, turn the hips forward through Warrior's Lunge and then lift the left leg up. Variations are welcome here, including handstand practice. I won't go through it today, but you're welcome. Alternatively, see if you can lift the left hip a little higher. Bend the left knee and think about taking the foot with your right hand. Keep the butt squeezing and the hip lifting. I'm just taking 2 more here. And now I'll go a little slower on this first time, and maybe we'll link it together on the next round. But as both hands come down to the ground, step back to runner's lunge just for a moment. And then we'll go a little tricky here. So left knee, the back knee, slides up just next to the right ankle into seated twist. Bear with me. You've got it. Right hand behind the lower back, sit the butt down. Left hand up and turn to your right to twist. Hooking the elbow. Awesome. That's it. Yeah, so the right leg is lifted. The right hand is behind the lower back. Lower back lifted. 2 more breaths here. Now, from here, we're all going to do something. I think we can all do something from here. So the first choice is to take this twist just a little bit deeper. And that's to say, you release a little bit, turn more to the right, and hook the elbow deeper around the knee. Now, if you wanted to practice VINYASA, we can enter from here. And it's a little tricky in its initial stages, but it gets easier as you go through it, I think. Left elbow hooks deeply, and notice I'm just going to take the hand onto my thigh and physically push it over so I can get that elbow much deeper around the leg. And that's the key. The knee is as high up the arm as possible. And then the hands come over to the right-hand side of your mat, not the top, the right-hand side of the mat. And then shifting body weight over to the right. I still got that elbow in contact with the knee, and I'm right up on the shin. It's a bit contorted, no doubt, but as you shift body weight to the right, maybe the elbow drops into the hip. You keep shifting body weight forward, and maybe there's some air time there. Alternatively, you're in one of the longest twists of all time. We take just 2, maybe 3 more breaths. Hang in there. Fantastic. And then we're going to try and come out the same way we came in, all right? So as you lunge forward, step back to runner's lunge. Yes, 3-leg dog. Right leg lifts up and back. Bend at the knee, tilt the hip up and open. Let's give this a go. Right knee to left elbow, crossing it under. Maybe you catch the foot with your left hand and kick, or find fallen triangle just one more time for 1 more breath. And then 3-leg dog finds a 3-leg flow. Left hand down, right leg up. High plank to low plank, chaturanga. Chin stand and handstand are welcome. Up dog finds down dog. And again, we take these opportunities to take breath. And we'll have a better opportunity with that in pyramid. So go ahead, raise the left leg up. And then drop it back down. Come to down dog. We're going to do a little bit more work first. Coming to high plank, turn the heels over to the left. Hold, right hand comes up. Left knee taps the elbow. Hold, squeeze it in, big breath. And now, right hand down, left leg up and out, 3-legged dog. Bend at the knee, tilt the hip up and open. And let's step through now into pyramid. Shortening up the stance, straightening through the front leg. And we've got a good, generous hold here. Good 10 breaths or something. So tuck into a fairly sustainable position. Relax the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. And then follow your breath. So the muscles stay active, especially in the back leg. But then things just start to get a little more settled. Energy, mind, breath. And the whole experience of the shape just takes, I think, a little more mental comfort. Body's going to work. Body's got to work. 2 to 3 more. One more deep breath now. Hang in there. Crescent lunge. And then the front knee. Lift the back heel, arms up. Prayer touch behind the neck, but squeeze your right butt cheek first. Lift the chest. Squeeze the elbows. 2 more breaths. Straighten through the front leg. Raise up. Reach the arms up. And then rebend the front knee to twist to your left. Extended stance here if you need. I certainly do. And then maybe lifting the chest just a touch more to rotate the shoulders towards the ceiling. And that's achieved by pushing the left hand into the right, but keeping the butt nice and firm so the hips are stable. 2-ish more breaths there. Hands to the ground. The little curtsy. Tap your right knee to the back of the left calf. Little curtsy, squat low. And then warrior one. So as the right foot steps back, I almost like to find the right edge of the mat to spin the heel down. Raise up the arms, still facing forward, straightening through the front leg. Interlace behind the lower back. I'm going to heel toe out even more. I really like a wide stance here. Chest lifts, and then bow as deeply inside the front leg. So my 2 feet, my left foot's on my left edge, my right foot's on my right edge. But you feel out your stance. I think the width just provides a little bit more stability. We've all got different hips though, so keep breathing, keep going. 2 more big breaths. All right, hands to the ground. So if you're unfamiliar with Wild Thing, have a look to the screen for a moment. But as the left leg lifts up, bend the knee, turn it over, and then drop the hips to the floor. It's like you take a little pause, and then lift the hips up and back as you bridge. And if you're not there already, please find it. Wild Thing into flip dog rather. Lifting the hips, breath or 2 more. And then we really want to keep the shoulders forward of the wrists as we find fallen triangles. The left hand comes down. Sweep your left leg under the body. Kick it out to the other side. Maybe it never touches down. Right hand comes up. A breath or 2 more. And into 3-legged dog. Right hand down, left leg up and out. Step the foot in between the hands. Warrior 2. Lifting the arms out. Straighten through the front leg. Reach up and back. And finding triangle. Reach out. Left hand down and right hand up. 1 more deep breath. And then scooping up into warrior 2. So bend the left knee, scoop the left hand forward and up, reach back. And then into side angle. So bring the left hand down inside the foot, top arm, wrapping behind your lower back. Roll back the shoulder here. So again, back leg super engaged, the thigh nice and tight. The knee nice and stable. And then keeping the front knee lunging deeply so it's above the ankle. Further back, and the leg's going to work more. Further forward, the thigh's going to work more. So that stack of the knee is going to help. It's still intense, but not as intense as if you had some other geometry there. We'll take 2 or 3 more breaths at least. Right hand down to the floor. Turn to the right hand side of the mat so the front foot turns in. Now take a halfway lift to lengthen out. And as the right hand comes down, left hand comes up into a big twist. Wrap the left arm behind the lower back. I mean, at the depth of that, you can catch the inner thigh, but again, lift the right hip up a little bit more, the right hip. To me, it feels like, moving the hips to the right a little bit more. So I sort of press into my left foot to move the hips over to the right, and that seems to do the trick. Maybe from there, right hand catches the ankle, drawing the chest across and down, but still keeping the rotation on the chest, which just intensifies everything. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then left hand down to raise the right hand up. Twist the other way, just a little counter twist for a moment or 2. Couple of breaths. And so a nice little transition to Skandasana here. So as you sort of turn the right foot out, right hand comes down and sit into the right butt cheek. It might be a bit long, so feel free to shorten it up a little bit there. A couple more slow and steady breaths. Front foot lifted, the ankle nice and tight. And so really turning back to the top of the mat through runner's lunge before coming up into standing split. So let's go. Walk the hands to the left. Lift the back leg through that runner's lunge. Handstand practice is welcome, or maybe a little bit of lifting the hip up, bend the knee, and take a hold of the foot with the left hand. Any of these options are welcome. Just keep your breath steady, especially in these more, much stronger postures that require balance, focus, intensity. We try and make it as easy an approach as possible. So adapt, back things off where you need to, and take 2 more big breaths. And then just a brief sort of touch down with the right foot into runner's lunge. Tap, seated twist. Right knee slides outside the left ankle. Sit the butt down with there. And drop your left butt cheek. Left hand behind the lower back, right hand up. We'll all find a twist for at least 3, maybe 4 breaths. Kind of sucking the belly in as you twist. And then getting into that initial position where the lower back lifts, left shoulder turns back, left butt cheek on the floor. And then if you want to think about the side bend, the arm balance, I'll just show you from a slightly different angle from the front maybe. So to the left, the elbow hooks around, and I like to physically push it and get the belly wrapping around the thigh a little bit more. So it's all about the connection of the elbow and the leg. So the knee is above the elbow in the upper arm, in the tricep. And then from there, it's a bit of a jump to get your butt off the ground. Sort of lifting up, pop, and then left hand down to the left hand side. You're trying to drop your left elbow into the hip and shift body weight forward to create that lift. But knees stay nice and tight. I know, stay with it if you're still in the twist. They're good to do. Twists are great. We'll take 2 more big breaths. Nice long hold. And then walking the hands forward, a little you can step that left foot out in front of you, just sort of through runner's lunge, pouncing forward if you don't fall over, into runner's lunge, puff the chest, and then 3-legged dog. Left leg up and out, bend at the knee, tilt the hip open. Last little bit here, you got this in you. Left knee to right elbow. Fallen triangle one more time, or catch the foot and kick. Bring the leg up over the head, or the arm up over the head, leg kind of up over the head or under the chin. We'll take a breath or 2 more there, hold with it. And then right hand down, left leg up, 3-legged dog finds a 3-legged flow. High plank to chaturanga, up dog finds down dog, and for goodness sakes, take a rest. Drop down to the knees, have a breath. Child's pose is more than welcome. Laying flat is more than welcome. Just take a moment here to take a breather. Anywhere that you can drop your heart rate. Just a couple more. And then coming down to the belly if you're not already. So walking the hands out in front of you, laying flat, coming up into Sphinx as soon as your lower back is comfortably adjusted, up onto the forearms, into the elbows. Soften the shoulders here, and if you want to think about seal, you can lift the chest up, but there's quite a stronger combination here. And really pay attention to your lower back if you're going to do this, but starting from the elbows, bend both knees and face the feet towards the ceiling. Now, don't go in towards your butt too far, just sort of 90 degrees at the ankle, at the knee rather, and then squeeze the butt and suck your belly in. And it should feel like the belly's almost lifting off the floor and you're pressing the front of your pelvis down the pubic bone. And then from there, maybe then you start to straighten the arms. I'm sure you can already feel it just with bent knees. Now pay attention to your lower back. Be honest with yourself if it's jamming. I know sometimes it kind of feels good to go to the limit, but just back it off here a little bit. Maybe you walk the hands back, but only if it feels like, there's not someone shoving something sharp in your lower back. Take care. And breathe gently. Notice what the shoulders are doing. Let them relax, let the jaw relax. We've only got 3 more big breaths here. And release gently, chest and legs. Just take a moment there, laying one cheek to the mat. Maybe drop the knees from side to side or the feet from side to side. A little reverse windscreen wipe, and we'll have a look for VINYASA now, or bow pose. So again, bending both knees, now staying down on the chest. Reach back for the feet. Now if you can't quite catch the feet, that's all good. Reach your arms back nonetheless, and we'll do it just the same. If you've got the feet, take a hold, roll back the shoulders, keep the knees somewhat together, not completely together, but fairly together. Lift the chest first, roll back the shoulders. We're not going quite into it yet. Now from here, squeeze your butt, lift the knees up off the ground. So we've got the chest and knees lifted. And now kick. Lift the chest. Breathe. Slow down the exhalation and somewhat keep the knees together, or at least pulling together. Hang in there. Try and take 2 or 3 more breaths. It's where it gets tricky, is about now. Slow exhale. 1 more lift of the chest. Kick harder. And release. Fantastic. Come on down. Again, soften through the lower back. Jiggle the butt a little if you like to. And then shifting back to tabletop, all fours, hands and knees. So very simply, take the legs out to the side and then out in front of you. Taking the right leg out to the side and the left foot inside of that leg. On our way towards a side bend, so bringing the right hand down inside the leg, or alternatively today, the right hand takes the outer left thigh, and that can be a nice deep variation. So if you want more intensity and you know it, take the leg. Left hand up, lean back, and then reach over for the foot. So in a side bend, we're looking for this nice arcing kind of shape through the side body, nice arcing shape. So it's not a fold from the hip. Notice you want to keep a nice kind of C curve all the way from your left hip, coming up through the rib cage. So it almost feels to me like I lift the rib cage a little bit to the ceiling, but then my collarbones and my head go over to the foot. So side of the rib cage up, head and chest forward to the foot or to the side. And then breathing here, reaching, and that only encourages the elongation. 1 more big breath now, decent hold. And then lifting up the chest for stargazer. Placing the left hand just behind the hip. As you rock up onto the shin, reach the right hand up over the head. More to the left, however, into a kind of opposing side bend. For 1 more big breath here. And then plonk the butt down, and we'll just do the other side straight away. So the left leg kicks out. Lower back lifts. Find the sitting bones. And then left hand in the leg, inside the leg or to the outer thigh. Roll back the chest, reach up and then over. Ankles still nice and engaged here. Toes lifted as if the foot is trying to meet the hand. Breathing now, much more important than any of that structural stuff. Your breath is your fundamental structure here. The fundamental presence of this posture. 2 to 3 more deep ones here, so they're going to take some time. 3 more at least, I say. Last breath here. Oh, that was a good one. Lift up, right hand just behind the hip. Lift the hips and reach over to the side, opposing side bend. Big breath in. And release. Coming back down, taking the legs out nice and wide now. Awesome. So for those of you that are terribly comfortable in this forward fold, bend your knees and slide your hands or your arms underneath the legs, but that is talking the extreme end of this. So for the majority of us, lift through the lower back, walk the hands out, and just find more towards an angle of softness here than anything. The chest sort of drops through the shoulders a little. The head relaxes, the neck relaxes. And then your entire expression on your face just sort of neutralizes. Free flowing breath, belly is nice and relaxed. Three to go here now. Chest lifts up, nice and gently. And then bringing the soles of the feet to touch for Baddha Konasana. Heels in nice and tight. Interlocking the fingers on the ends of the feet. Puff up the chest for a bit of leverage off the feet. And then as you bring the chest forward and down, maybe the elbows come into the inner leg a little bit. But any amount of body weight coming forward and you'll feel it, right? So then concentrate on the space where the belly connects in a way to the inner leg. Just that space where you can feel it most intensely. And holding your attention there just with a particular quality of mind, or at least pointing yourself in the direction of softness there is going to make a huge difference, I think. Might be a little bit kind of squirmy to begin with as the muscles start to relax a little bit and make their way through some layers of tension, but keep your attention there and keep the breath moving. It's definitely going to help. Slowing the exhale especially might be the key here. Relax the belly. And again, we'll take just 3 more. Chest lifts up. Kick both legs out in front of you. Straighten along, and we'll come into Paschimottanasana, or a straight up forward fold. Now walk the sitting bones back a little bit underneath you. Lift the lower back, raise up the arms into staff pose. So this is Dandasana. We just activate the core here, so belly in, chest nice and tall, and then reach as far forward as you can. And for some of us, might not be very far, that's all good. And then relax from there. Or keep reaching. And same thing applies. Once you get your sort of final position there, make a little adjustment. Lift again through the lower back, and then relax through the shoulders of the neck. Settling in, keeping the feet up. Nice steady breaths. We're not here for very long, just 5 breaths in total, so we've probably only got 3 left now. Energy starting to drop a little now. 1 more breath. Inhale, chest lifts up. You're welcome to take headstand and go forward, or lie down on the back with me. And as you make your way down to your back, hug the knees in just for a moment. And then think about lifting the legs up towards the ceiling. If you had a wall nearby and it was no big deal, you could just take your legs up the wall, which is super nice to be supported. You can take your hands underneath the hips or a pillow. Alternatively, shoulder stand, and that's where I'm headed. So lifting the hips up, and then sort of getting the neck adjusted so the back of the head is fairly flat. And then with the hips lifted up, kind of, in a way, lifting the tailbone a little bit further towards the ceiling. Lifting the tailbone, wriggling the shoulders a little further together, and then try to reach the toes for the ceiling. So everything gets quite active through the body here. Breathing slowly, gently. Maybe it's legs over the face into plow. 3 more breaths here. And with a great deal of care and control, ease the body down to laying flat. Completely flat, just for a moment, and let your spine and your hips settle. If you feel like you need to take fish pose or bridge or wheel and just sort of counter pose, you're welcome to. You don't have to, but feel free to. I'm just going to go into a twist and encourage you to do the same. So the right knee comes in, and if you're taking a little counter pose, let's just meet in the twist, shall we? Right leg coming over to the left, opening out your right shoulder really broadly. 3 to 4 more breaths here. And the twist, just sort of getting the lower back comfortably adjusted back into kind of a more familiar position. And back through center with that right knee. Left leg coming in to go into the twist on the other side. Taking the left leg over. Left shoulder opening out broadly. Two more breaths. And then back through to center. Hug the knees into the chest, and please do anything else you need before Shavasana, including a little happy baby if you want to. And we'll come down to laying flat. Get yourself comfortably adjusted. Shoulders comfortably flat, hips settled and the head settled. Starting to get into the mood to be restful. And taking a kind of a bridging moment, a transitional moment to recognize how the physical movement creates a kind of flushing of the body with energy. I like to think of it as a bit of a reset for the day. In another sense, every one of the practices in yoga is aiming to reduce the distraction of that thing that we're working on. So if the practice is physical movement of the body, it aims to reduce the distraction and the discomfort of the body. If it's the breath, it aims to reduce the inconsistencies in the breath, bringing health and well-being to the breathing pattern. And same goes for meditation or anything else, to the mind, to the senses. And so here the overall impact is this kind of balanced feeling, contentment. The feeling where you really don't need anything else more in this moment than what you already have. Starting to notice the closeness and in fact the complete lack of separation between yourself and peacefulness, yourself and happiness. More than that, yoga suggests that you are peace, you are happiness, you are love. And it's within your own presence that you rest. Just here in stillness, not needing to change or alter anything, since you're already perfect as you are. Let yourself simply be within your body here. I really encourage you to give yourself this gift of rest right now. Much love to you. Thank you so much for your support. Take care and namaste.